Welcome to the August 15th meeting of the Rotary Club of Jamestown. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, singing our national anthem, and repeating the four-way test. Let's repeat the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Our invocation today is Sue Jones.
Will you join me in prayer? We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to end war, for we know that you must have made the world in a way that we must find our own paths to peace within ourselves and with our neighbors. We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to end starvation, for you have already given us the resources with which to feed the entire world if we would only use them wisely. We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to root out prejudice, for you have already given us eyes with which to see the good in others, if we would only use them rightly. We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to end despair, for you have already given us the power to clear away slums and to give hope, if we would only use our power justly. We cannot merely pray to you, O God, to end disease, for you have already given us great minds with which to search out cures and healings, if we would only use them constructively. Therefore, we pray to you instead, O God, for strength, determination, and willpower to do instead of to pray, to become instead of merely to wish, for your sake and for ours, speedily and soon, that our land and our world may be safe, and that our lives may be blessed. May the words that we pray and the deeds that we do be acceptable to you, O Lord our God. Amen.
Thank you, Sue. Please welcome President-elect Ruth Lundeen to announce our visiting Rotarians and guests.
Thank you so much, John. So we are very happy today to be joined by Sean Jones with Chris Anderson. Welcome, Sean. And Evan Gray, who's a guest of Max Eimiller. Welcome, Evan. And Jamar Gomez, who's a guest of Joanna Dahlbach. Welcome to all three.
Announcements. Our Rotarially Yours recorder today is Joel Kiefer. As always, many thanks to you and the Communications Committee for all you do to help keep the club informed. The Rotary Golf Classic coming up, couple weeks, 2 weeks. Mike Bird just sent out an email to everybody. We only have 11 teams that have registered for the golf tournament. We need at least 20 to have the tournament. So please either sign up or contact those you know. We need to get about 9 more teams signed up in the next 2 weeks. That's August 29th. And we're also going to get a price if you can just attend the dinner only. We should have that here from Moonbrook the next day or two, and we'll get that out to everybody. Rotary 50/50 signups is going around. That's for the 50/50 and the greeter signup. So sign up if you can, please. Board meeting this Friday at Gebby, 8 a.m. The Rotary Leadership Institute is having their virtual leadership development 3 Tuesdays in September, October, November. If anybody's interested in signing up for the Rotary Leadership Institute, let me know. I can get you the information. And then I don't know if everybody remembers when a couple people from the directors of Gift of Life came down and were selling the chocolate bars. They sent out an update and they just want to say thanks to all the District 7090 Rotary clubs that support the chocolate heart sale on Valentine's Day and Mother's Day. Through the generosity of each individual club members and club donations, they raised enough money to support cardiac surgery for 2 children. It was $5,000 for one child. So that was a $10,000 for 2. So that was pretty good. And I wanted to say thank you all. Any other announcements from any of the directors? Anything else? All right, very good. Please get your tickets ready for the 50/50. Dewey Jones.
Number today is 377419.
419. Hey, Irene. Give a hand for our Sergeant at Arms, Doug Conroe.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Bring her right up here. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. And we're going to seed the pot today. Thanks to Mark, who has to leave early, and Kevin and Becky, who missed a couple meetings. So that gets us off to a good start. And Becky, I suggested, I was looking out front to see if there's a Brinks truck out here, because Becky has a great involvement in the community to be credited. She was pictured in the paper, and maybe she could explain to you, everyone here, the difference between a backwater preventer and a backflow preventer. So she was featured there, and between her and Ellen, I think they can come up with that, but that was a whole main feature article and very informative for, Dewey, I'm certain understands it. And I happen to also. Then she was pictured in the paper for St. Susan's Center, $26,698.15. Whoa. And then she was pictured in the paper for the Jamestown Tree Power Program. Yeah. So, all right. So come on up and just unload it all here. It's okay. You want to say something too?
Yes, without my article, I can't explain the difference between, unless I really thought a long time about it. But I also, we had many Rotarians that were sponsors, special sponsors for St. Susan's. So if it's okay, can I name the Rotarians? Key Bank, National Fuel, Northwest, Slow Meluish, and Weinberg Financial Group are some of our major sponsors. And Max was there for our picture. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And I'm sure those sponsors want to sponsor Rotary too here, by the way. And speaking of Max, I had a little trouble reading your button today. Uh-oh. That, you don't have one? Oh. That Tori is accountable for that? I will not forget. But Max wants to pay also because somebody by the name of Sam was in the Post Journal for All Stars 100-meter hurdles.
Again, like I always say, he is my parents' favorite child, so no surprise there. And he also just left a couple days ago to go to college out in Chicago. So I will be the only kid here with my parents. So I'm going to get spoiled.
Good. And lastly, but certainly not at the bottom of the list, Ruth is reaching for her wallet. She was pictured. So everyone involved with the foundations are going to pay for Ruth then, right, Tori? Right? Okay, for the Hamilton Award to be presented this September. Congratulations for you and Paul. Congratulations. Okay. Yeah, okay. Keep it coming. Let's see. Okay. So, Stacy, I know you're an avid reader and you must read Rotarian magazine. In case you haven't got the hint these last few weeks, President Kevin suggested we, instead of dealing with some points in history, let's look at Rotarian magazine and Rotarian activities. And this month, August, there was a very interesting article about the club in Karachi, Pakistan. And it was a 2-page spread, nice photos, and it was about the Miyawaki method used in urban forestry. And what the club is, everybody's reaching for their, so yeah, you probably don't remember the 4 layers of that program. No? Planting program to recreate urban forests, shrubs, subtrees, trees, and canopies. And they have documented that type of planting has produced 30 times more oxygen and absorbed 30 times more carbon dioxide, really. So, and made the community 100 times more biodiverse. So how many forests have they planted in Pakistan using this, as a Rotary Club planted using this method? So I give you a second chance there. 24. So that's good. So that's something, you know, we have an environment committee here, we have club, we have the Watershed Conservancies constantly reminding us about rebuilding our forests. Could be a project. Mr. President, you ready for Happy Bucks?
Happy Bucks. All right.
Well, I have a happy buck today for Dewey for being service above self, just pitching in and helping out with greeting people today. Thank you very much, Dewey. And I have a happy buck for the wonderful effort that all of you gave. Many of you brought in donated items for our toiletry bags for the foreign students coming into JCC. And we were able to do a bag for each student. Plus, we did bowls of general items to put in their social areas so that people could get the things that we didn't get enough of to put in every bag. We put out in the social areas so they could also avail themselves there. So thank you very much for that. And of course, I have a $5 happy buck for the John D. Hamilton Award for Paul.
I have 5 happy bucks today. First of all, we wrapped up the summer LEAP program today. We were going to be there tomorrow as well, but they had to reschedule a farm tour, and who wants to keep kids away from the farm? So we wrapped up today. I'm pleased to say we had 15 volunteers who put in 25 hours over a 10-day period. So thank you for that. Also, thank you. And I just want to say that LEAP program is worth every penny of our support. It is just a fabulous program. As Chris had said last week, I got to be with the second graders for some part of my time today. And you cannot leave there but be just giddy with, you know, all their hope and enthusiasm, and even a sticker, you know. I guess I was good today. I want to give a big thank you to Mary Schiller, who she hasn't been able to attend our meetings, but let me tell you, she's been very active with the Literacy Committee. And Mary and the estate of Nikki Galati provided over 700 books. They donated over 700 books for our laundromat literacy program. So thanks to Mary and the Galati family. And you know, when you accept such a generous donation, where do you store it? Well, a big thank you to Mike Roberts and Allied Alarm for providing us with a dry and secure place to store those books until we use them. And we do give out like 700 books a year. So we've got like a year's supply, but keep those books coming, because we'll continue to accept your donations and utilize those in our 3 laundromat libraries. And then I want to thank Irene Dovies and the Asheville Library. They had a book sale, and Irene went there to pick up some books for us. And they said, well, come Sunday at 2:30 and you can take as many books as you want for free. So Irene was back and I was back, and we got a few boxes of books. And Irene is storing some books for us now too. So thank you. And then I just have a bonus buck for Rotary. So there you go. Thank you.
I just have a couple happy bucks today. First, a thank you to anybody who came out for Jamestown Cruise In that the chamber spearheaded on Friday. We had a great night, over 200 cars and tons of people downtown supporting local business, supporting each other. It was great to see. And then the other is for the beautiful weather we're having. We had a great weekend, took the kid to Midway. So I hope you had a good weekend too.
This happy buck is for our president, John. I just want to appreciate your leadership, and in particular that you lead us in the Star Spangled Banner at a key that I can actually sing. So thank you.
Hi, I haven't been here for a while, but I'm happy to say that my dental surgery is over. So I got my new teeth, and I'm chowing down on yogurt. But anyways, I have 10 happy bucks. I could count many blessings for all of you. Thank you for your help. And yours, and Marion. I've just had a hard time. I don't want to cry, but I'm so proud to be a Rotarian.
So I just have a general announcement, and I see Denise is on Zoom with her hand raised, so I'm going to let her go before me.
Okay, I have one happy buck for each of the happy campers that we have at TRC camp this week, which Rotary plays such a huge part in. So a big thank you to the Rotary Club, big thank you to Tim Edborg and Randy Graham for providing music that was very well received and provided some awesome entertainment last night.
And my general announcement is just to let you all know that our exchange student from Denmark, Joa Molholm, has arrived. Sherry picked him up at the airport on August 11th, and he's settling in right now with Emily and Jim Kama. They're in the Southwestern School District, and he'll be signing up for classes. And it looks like he's going to try out for cross country. And we're hopeful that he will be able to attend next week, so you all get to meet him. Thank you.
Sorry, one more. Chris's announcement prompted that for me. So this exchange student who's staying with the Camas, this happy buck is for Jim Cama, who was actually the award recipient of our Joseph H. Mason Award at United Way, a very worthy recipient. And you just prompted me to do this for him as well. And he's hosting the exchange student from Denmark. So, oh, are you coming up now?
Okay, so as previously stated, I don't actually have any bucks, but I'll have more IOUs. But I just wanted to say, every year, you know this very well, that the Community Foundation identifies a John D. Hamilton Community Service Award recipient. There are others of those past recipients in this very room. And every year we think we can't possibly find another person as worthy as someone from the past. And this year, we did it again. And Ruth and Paul are just wonderful people. And we always think, what would Mr. Hamilton think? And I didn't know him, but people who did think he would be very touched to know that you're receiving the award this year.
Kevin. All right, thank you, everybody. It is my pleasure to welcome Becky Robbins from the program committee to introduce our speaker.
Thank you. This is kind of a long one, so bear with me. Ellen DiTonto is a Chautauqua County native who has held a number of positions locally in higher education, government, and utilities. She started in technology services at JCC, where she was the first instructional computing director. In county government, she was the first chief information officer at a time when server-based programs were just starting to be implemented. And she connected 23 county government sites together with fiber services. She then worked as director of sales and business development at DFT Communications, where I think that's when I first got to know you, because she helped on the St. Susan's campaign. And then she returned to JCC when she became the executive director of the Faculty Student Association. Ellen's now employed at the BPU as our business development coordinator. She's working with many economic development partners and organizations in the Southern Tier, well, in Southern Chautauqua County specifically, to help retain and attract new businesses and to promote the region, especially Jamestown, where we have reliable services and lower cost utilities. I had to put that in. A large focus of her position now is the Retool Western New York initiative, based on a $750,000 grant from the New York State Research and Development Authority, also known as NYSERDA. The multi-year grant is targeted at regional manufacturers, entrepreneurs, educators, and business support organizations. Ellen is working to help them learn about the economic opportunities in the clean tech, climate tech sector. We hope to transform the region into a hub to support the supply chain in alternative energy use and to develop a workforce to support these new technologies. The Retool 22 conference for manufacturers and other people actually is scheduled for October 17th to 19th in downtown Jamestown. That's the focus of her presentation today. Many of you know Ellen is married to Guy DiTonto, who recently retired from the County Chamber of Commerce, and he now works part-time as a community liaison for the Schultz Auto Group, which also contributed to St. Susan's. These two met they were both working at WJTN, and I was, I think, still working on the competitive station. Supposedly it was the but anyway, so they have 2 adult children and 4 grandchildren. Ellen?
Thank you very much. I'm going to try to do something here. I'm left-handed, but I'm going to try to talk and move slides around and all of that at the same time. With all of the good news here, I thought it was important for us to see a little bit more good news. And that is to talk about Retool Western New York and Retool 22. I hope by now Most of you have heard about our initiative. Many of the people in this room represent organizations that have been a part of Retool Western New York. We have, I think, over 16 organizations that have partnered with the BPU. Becky talked about the large grant from NYSERDA. It is a $750,000 grant, a period of 3 years. It started in 2020 prior to me coming on, a long time before that. But it is going to do some phenomenal things. It could change the trajectory of our economic outlook here in Chautauqua County, in the southern tier, and hopefully in Western New York. So I'm hoping that you'll bear with me as I go through this. If you have questions, please raise your hand, stop me. But there's some exciting news here in this presentation. One of the things that Becky mentioned is about the Retool Western New York mission, about raising awareness of climate tech and clean tech in our environment. This is not political. We know there's a lot of politics out there about this, but this is really focused on economic development. We want to spark people to be innovative. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about innovation in Chautauqua County in a minute, but you should know that the Retool Western New York initiative is all about innovation. And I want to give credit to some of our partners that you see here. Again, we have a number of partners who are part of initiatives that go well beyond the conference that I'm going to focus on today, but they have been really important in helping us move through this. We have a number of initiatives. One you might have heard about already. We had Insight Consulting out of Buffalo do a regional manufacturing study to give us ideas of what is possible in the climate tech and clean tech areas here in Chautauqua County, the southern tier, and Western New York. That study is now available. If people want to read it, we've got a link right on our website. Becky's the one who will tell you, BPU, jamestownbpu.com. It's right there. We also are excited about a program at JCC that's being formulated right now. And I don't see any of my former JCC colleagues here, but Irene was one. But that is a program that's in advanced building controls. And as you imagine, when we start talking about the electrification of everything, including your heating, air conditioning, you're going to have some different building controls, especially as we look at manufacturing facilities and commercial entities. So JCC is taking on the task of building a new advanced building controls program, and that should be kicking off in the spring. We also have available through this grant up to 10 opportunities for manufacturers to have studies done on how could they transform their business to be part of this climate tech and clean tech area. And I'm pleased to tell you that we've had a couple of proposals out there. These are very expensive studies, but because of the grant, the manufacturing organization would only have to pay about 30% of the total cost. And one of the things that's most exciting for me as we go through this is our Retool 22 conference, October 17th through the 19th here in Jamestown. Somebody talked about how great downtown Jamestown was. It was Dan. This weekend. This conference is focused on showing the best in all of Jamestown. We will be downtown. We'll be at the Northwest Arena, but we are also having 3 networking opportunities, one at RTPI, one at the Jackson Center, one at the Harbor Hotel. We are going to have an event at the Comedy Center, and we're hoping 350 people are going to be here to take advantage of that. One other part of the initiative is a marketing campaign. We have to get the word out. We know that, number one, we have some innovative people here and we have opportunities, but we have to get the word out that we want to have people come here to open new businesses and to help us renovate and build what we already have. So what is climate technology? All of you probably have your own opinion of what that is, but what we're looking at from this grant is where are there opportunities to reduce greenhouse gas emissions? And this chart shows you that a lot of them are in buildings, that yellow or light yellow gold and gold color. Transportation is another area. I see Schultz is here because I worked with them over time and they're helping us actually on our initiative. But one of the things that we need to look at is how much are we doing to reduce emissions? And the reason we need to do that is because, yes, New York State has set some pretty aggressive targets. Many of you are probably familiar with the Climate Protection Act. But New York State isn't the only state that's setting these targets, and recent federal legislation is also pushing us. We call it, the Climate Tech Act, the CLCPA Act here in New York, but other states have very similar programs. We want to get ahead of the game. It's very important that we start now, because as we look at what the goals are, there are some pretty large goals by 2030, 2040. If you're in the school districts, you probably know by 2035, they have to have no more diesel buses. So they're really having to be aggressive to plan for that, and there's money for that. Some of these other targets, again, are important as we look at opportunities to increase our alternative energy sources. Solar, you're hearing more and more about solar. Here in Chautauqua County, we have a number of solar entities that are starting to grow here. We also have some people who are in the solar business that are native of Chautauqua County, and one of them will be speaking at our conference. So that's exciting. And in the southern tier in Wellsville, we have a manufacturer that's transformed their business to help make wind parts for wind, which is really exciting. They had a business that wasn't really going to stay in business because of the way the economy was moving. And so they have partnered, and now they're making parts for wind. So that's very important. Why here? This is when I want to see where Greg Jones is, right there. Why here? Because part of our Retool Western New York had that crescent wrench that was part of the logo. And, back in the early 1900s, we had Carl Peterson, who was an innovator, and he was the person who developed the crescent wrench and had it manufactured here in Jamestown. We were known as the furniture manufacturing area for many, many years, starting in the late 1800s. So we were innovators in that manufacturing business as well. We can be innovators again. So remember the crescent tool. That's a very important part of our goals in this initiative, but also we have other reasons that we want to start doing this. We have resources. Think of the old manufacturing facilities that are now, not being used. We also have some land that could be developed. So we have the resources that we could actually make this work. We don't have to have all large manufacturing facilities. We could have a number of small in a startup type setting, but we do have the space to make that available. We can expand our existing businesses. Some of our businesses have been really developed on combustion engine parts in the supply chain. What are they going to do? We know that electric vehicles are coming, and so we need to be ready for that. And we need to have manufacturers who can be part of that supply chain. And then we also have available resources for innovation and development now. I don't know if you've been looking at anything that's in the press or online, but there are thousands upon thousands of dollars available for people who want to be innovative in the manufacturing area. And you're going to hear about a few of them who are coming to our conference. Whoops, I guess I went a little bit too fast there. Retool 22. Again, on your tables is a postcard that we sent out, about 1,200 of those to regional manufacturers, all the way from Binghamton this way and Western New York, Buffalo, Rochester, and even into Erie, Pennsylvania, because we think that there are some manufacturers in that area who could become partners on this. The dates, October 17th to the 19th. The bulk of the meetings will be on October 18th and 19th. And again, there's ways that you can go to this for free. So it's not that we're looking to make money. We were trying to cover costs, but there's webinars. One's tomorrow and one is in September. If you attend both of those webinars, you can get a free ticket to the conference. And that is a full ticket for everything that we're going to be doing. I want to tell you how exciting it is to talk to people who are nationally renowned, who are excited about this topic, and who said, of course, I want to come to your conference. Two of them are Clint Wilder. If you know him as an author, he wrote Clean Tech Nation a number of years ago. And except for the fact that COVID took over, a lot of what he had predicted and projected actually would have been right on target. So the book is now a couple of years behind where we should be, but Clint is very much involved in being an editorial director at Clean Edge, and they issue annually information about where are we in clean tech and climate tech. And then John Ellis. John Ellis is a former global technologist at Ford Motor Company, again, held a very high title, and he was heavily involved in some of the transition to electronic vehicles and electric vehicle parts. So he will have a lot to say about how transportation has transformed and how we can transform in other areas of the supply chain. This again is information that's out there. We were really excited because in addition to Clint being an author that was referenced in our important talks that we're ahead of getting everybody set up for this, Clint also is a Chautauquan. And he arrived on Saturday at Chautauqua, and he is going to be there for the rest of the month, and we're going to talk to him personally to make sure that we've got everything set up for his speech on October 18th. Some featured speakers in addition to the two keynotes, Paul Tino from NOCO. NOCO, as Paul told me, used to be a company that sold coal years ago, 3 generations ago. And now they're transforming into what they call energy as a service business. So they'll be selling wind, and they'll be selling solar, and they'll be whatever else comes down the pike in order to make that small business, it's a family-owned business, continue on for the next generation. Dennis Elzenbach is a person who you may have heard his name. He is active on the Climate Action Council, New York State's council that is now going through the Climate Action Plan and trying to have a scoping document so that we can move forward with the next steps. Dennis has been very, very involved in clean tech. He was the president of Verity Parenti out of Buffalo, which is a lithium ion battery company that just started there a few years ago. John Williams from NYSERDA. We couldn't have gone much higher than this. We have the vice president of regulatory and policy there. And he's going to be coming because he wants to talk about what's available in dollars to these manufacturers if they do want to get into this part of the business. And then Marnie Levine, well known in Western New York, Launch New York, and this is a private venture capital company that she formed, and they again have been issuing a lot of money to companies so that they can build or transform in Western New York. We have panels set up on a number of topics that may be of interest to some of you entrepreneurs. We need more of them, as you know. But we need to see the good examples of some that have actually worked in this industry. And I don't know if many of you were watching TV when Joe Biden was introduced by a man from Spark Charge when they were going through the recent chip regulations that were put in place. Spark Charge is owned and really operated by a young man who won money in Buffalo through the 43 North program. And his COO, Michael Cummings, is going to be here. They have a small manufacturing operation. Again, they have portable EV chargers that they make. So if you're out on the road and you can't get to a charger, they can actually come to you. Livingston Energy, another EV charging company, the co-owner and developer there is going to be part of it to, again, tell us how entrepreneurs work and how they can get into business. We're excited. Solar Liberty will have a representative. That family grew up in Chautauqua County, and one of their representatives will be here. Dahlstrom Rollform right here in our area. He's already doing a lot of work in the area of solar. And so he's going to tell, I think, a success story. Alstom, Siemens, I mean, you name it. We've got a lot of great companies. I'm still talking with Corning. We talked with them today. We may be able to get somebody from there as well. Money is a big factor when you look at trying to transform your business. So we have people coming from Sandbrook Capital. That's a company that does investments only in clean tech and climate tech. And then we have the Buffalo Angel Investors. We all know you need an angel when you want to start a business. And they're going to talk a little bit about how that happens in our region. In workforce development, that's a big factor. How do we get a workforce that can change and be ready for this? We talked a little bit about JCC and what they're doing. The Northland Workforce Center in Buffalo is a phenomenal area where they're doing all kinds of work to get students who may not have been able to go to college or may not have decided they wanted to go to college, but need a trade, and they're doing a great job up there. Alfred State has some great programs in the construction trades, another important area in climate tech. And then we have P-Tech. I think it's one of the most successful P-Tech programs in the state. I worked with Bill Smock just last week. He has students who are just really talented, welding, and again, metal pressing, some of the things that we'll have to continually have in our workforce. So the upcoming events, again, we have one tomorrow, a webinar that might be of interest to you. Two men from UB's entrepreneurial program will be talking about what they have in terms of opportunities if you do want to get into this business. And they have worked with a small company in Chautauqua County, S-House in Silver Creek, on battery storage. So that might be a good story to hear. Again, a success story. We have another webinar on September 13th, Build It Clean, Build It Here. Marnie Levine is going to speak on that. And she will be joined by somebody from Empire State Development. Again, another state resource. And then, of course, our big conference in October. And I have a short video, which I'm going to have John help me with. I want to tell you to register. You can register for the webinars, and then you can also register for the conference. But we're going to show a video that I think is a great way to introduce the conference. And it's out on YouTube now, so.
Set aggressive targets to decarbonize the economy, driving the need for significant changes in industry and creating once-in-a-lifetime opportunities for manufacturers. Are you prepared to take advantage of them? Join the Retool WNY initiative and industry leaders this fall in Jamestown, New York for Retool 22 and learn about the emerging climate technology sector. Hear from prominent speakers, network with colleagues, see electric vehicles and equipment being used today, and discover ways to grow your business. October is a beautiful time to be in Jamestown, with events at the National Comedy Center, Robert H. Jackson Center, Roger Dory Peterson Institute, and the Chautauqua Harbor Hotel, where you're going to learn a lot, meet great people, and have some fun too. I'm Chris Selstrom from the Jamestown Board of Public Utilities. I look forward to seeing you there.
I think that's a great promo for our conference. And Chris Selstrom has been really a wonderful spokesman for us.
You can get your recommended daily intake of the Daily Show injected directly into your ears, leaving your eyes free for driving to work, loading the dishwasher, or staring passionately into the eyes of a loved one. Hear all new episodes of the
Wait a minute.
And the conference, we call it a conference for manufacturers, but it's a conference for all of us because we all need to be involved in this. It is really a phenomenal way for us to change the trajectory of this area. And I'm excited. I hope you are too. And if you have questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Any questions? Rick?
It's not out, but it's not being looked at in terms of new plants. I mean, there has to be a way for us to transition, so we can't just shut down all of the ones. I mean, certainly the safety has to be considered, but they're looking at ways to transition. Even as you know, natural gas is another thing they want to transition from, but we have to have ways to do that. So over time,
probably nuclear will not be used as much as maybe it is now in certain parts. Yes. They absolutely are involved, Sally. The plant here, the Jamestown plant, we did a sustainability tour there not too long ago. They have great plans. They call it 0-2050 for their sustainability. They also have a new division called the New Power Division that is looking at building motors that are hydrogen cells and electric. I mean, you have to look at the different models. And as Anna Dibble has told me, they will always have diesel, but it'll be a cleaner diesel. They are definitely working on that. So yes, they're heavily involved. That is true. It's public. It was made public. It's exciting news. We may have one of their representatives at the conference. They have been looking for quite some time to be here. And they think, even though there is a huge lithium ion battery operation going in Endicott, New York as well, not far from Binghamton, this is an opportunity again for a manufacturer to start out, to get a good core of people in jobs, and then to build out from there. And the size of that factory and the fact that it's a very clean factory is very helpful. So yes. There are issues, and there's also issues of supply right now. Where are we getting that? It's part of, Sally, what's being addressed, I think, globally now. Where else can we get it? Is it available, and can we get it here in the US or at least in North America? But we have to work through some of those challenges. Other questions? Thanks. You've been a great crowd. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Ellen, for that interesting presentation. One of Rotary's major international programs is to eradicate polio in the world. We're down to a few countries where it exists. In honor and thanks for your presentation to our Rotary Club today, we will make a donation in your name and will vaccinate 4 children who will never experience polio in their life. Remember this year's Rotary International theme, Imagine Rotary. Thank you, and we are adjourned.